Hello from Coron. Hello! I recognize that it's a lot harder to vlog than I first thought it would be. So my first video of Coron lacks a bit of backstory. So here I am in El Nido and ready to fill you in on the clips. I think I've been a lot better here in El Nido. So maybe I won't have to do this again. I think I will get better and better. So just be patient with me. I also think it's really scary to talk English to the camera, just because everyone understands what I'm saying, and yeah, I just feel a little bit. I just become a little self-conscious about my English. Like I feel like after I start recording, my English just like it's just I can't speak anymore, and I can't pronounce things the way I know they are pronounced. Like it just goes away. All my English knowledge goes away. But I'm sure I will get better at that too. What I was trying to tell you guys at the top of Coron, but when it was too windy to speak, was that my first vlog was supposed to be first impressions and a food tour of Manila. But we had a really bumpy start to our vacation. First we did plan to have a day in Bangkok, and then we had a late flight. We arrived from Oslo early in the morning, and then we had a late flight to Manila, and we just went with it. We just walked around, got some food and stuff, and then we went to the airport to take the flight to Manila. And right after takeoff, the engine on the left side caught fire, and we had to do an emergency landing back in Bangkok. Then we had so many hours of waiting in the airport before we got a hotel at like 3-4 a.m. And then our flight just kept being pushed. That the flight was going to go at 9 a.m. Then they said 12 p.m. and then they pushed it to 3 p.m. and the 3 p.m. was the one we got on, but it was also an hour delayed. So we lost all our time in Manila. We lost the food tour we had booked, and we were so tired. It really fucked up our sleeping hours schedule. Yeah, you know. So that was a little bumpy. So the first video is there for Coron. So let us go back to Coron. We chose the boat tour D, which is the wreck and reefs tour. It is not the most popular tour. The most popular tour I think is A and B, but we chose it because we knew that the other tours were really crowded. And even though there are really beautiful places on the A and B tour, we just know that we are having such a better time if there's less people. The tour we went on only had 4 stops, 2 shipwrecks from World War II, 1 beach where you could snorkel as well, and another coral reef where you could snorkel. And it was just so beautiful, and we had a lot of people on the same tour that said that this was the best tour they've been on in Coron, actually, because it is a little bit more time on the boat. Like it takes, you are out further, so you are a couple of hours to get to the first destination, and then there's an hour to the next destination. So it is a little bit more time on the boat than the other tours. I think there are less time and more stops, but then you have less time when you get to the stop. Like we had a very long time at each stop. That was great. We could just explore, and yeah, it was really nice. So the first stop on our tour was the shipwreck from the World War II. It was kind of small, and it wasn't like a lot of other things to see there, but it was really cool. Like first I was freaking out because obviously for a ship to sink and lie, it's pretty deep, and I don't really like to be on deep water. I freak out when I can't see the bottom. Yeah, and then we swam, and it was so cool, very cool. I guess you're seeing the footage now. Then our second stop was the island, the beach of the tour. And this island was so beautiful. I think one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. It was such a small island, you would think it was deserted, but I think actually a couple of people lived out there, and it was possible to buy a beer and a coconut. So, you know, not that deserted. We were there pretty much alone, and it was so nice to just have the place to ourselves. It was really cool and beautiful to snorkel around the beach, and the beach was just beautiful, and we had an amazing lunch that the crew cooked on the boat. Really good food. I was surprised that it was so good, actually. And we were there for at least 1.5 hours, I think, just relaxing. I got some sun because, you know, we haven't seen the sun in Norway for like 6 months, so I'm soaking up all the sun I could get, and now I'm burnt, but you know, you can't win. Third stop was the coral reef. Then we actually jumped off the boat, and then the boat drove like 100 meters on the other way, and then we had to swim to the boat. Also a little scary because Jørgen didn't join me this time, but I was swimming with an Indian couple that we had like kind of befriended on the tour. A lot of fish and a lot of yeah, I don't think you catch it well enough on the GoPro, but it was beautiful. I saw a sea turtle. I swam with a sea turtle, and it was so cool. Like that was definitely on my bucket list, like not only on my Philippines bucket list, but on my bucket list. So that was so cool. I was just like screaming in the snorkel, like woo, 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 like oh my god, it's a turtle. Yeah, it was really far down, so it was really difficult to see, but I saw it clearly with my eye. You see it kind of move, but you don't see it as clearly as I saw it with my goggles. But I don't care, like I was just in the moment. I think that is the most important thing, to be in the moment. So yeah. The fourth stop was another shipwreck. This time it was a really big one, or I thought so. It was a lot more bigger than the other one. Really cool to see. It was much more clearer because it wasn't that deep. I think I could have touched it with my hands and feet if I just swam over it. And then it was also like coral reefs around the wreck, so we spent a lot of time there just going around also. All in all, a very nice trip. I can really recommend it, and I think based on what the others told me, that it's actually the best tour to take if you only have one day, as we had to take a tour. We had 2 days in Coron in total, and the first day we arrived super early, and then we just explored the town, and then we walked up to the Hollywood sign that says Coron, and then our sleeping schedule still wasn't perfect, so I think we were tired around like 8 or 9 p.m. and went to bed. So a little recap of Coron. We were there for 2 days. I thought that was enough, actually. Of course you can do all the boat trips. I think the boat trips are probably the things you do there. It's not a lot of things besides the boat trips to do. You can rent a scooter and go around the island in 1 day, I think, because it's really small. But of course the boat trips take you to beautiful places, so of course it's worth it, but it is a little, you know, it is a little tiring to be away all day on a boat. I will actually make shorts, YouTube shorts, about every hotel that we have been on, because I think that is a good content for like shorts, like just pros and cons and what we thought and what we rate the hotel, just so everyone knows that this hotel is okay or this stay away, because I do think that a lot of travel a lot of travel influencers just keep out so much info that you need, you know, that you want to know where to stay, you know, you want to know where to eat. And that brings me to when you arrive at Coron airport, you have to pay 200 pesos to environment. It's an environmental fee. I think that is great, but it's just good to be prepared that you have 200 pesos on you. And there are no grabs and taxis in Coron, but the whole island is like, yeah, the whole island is like collaborating on making it all work. So the transport is arranged even though you haven't arranged anything. So you just go out to airport and then you say which hotel you're gonna stay at, and they just shout the hotel, and one person is like, yeah, over here, and that person has like 3 hotels, and then you take a minibus with you and the people going to the same hotel and some other people going to the 2 others. Then you just drive, and it's about 500 pesos, but it's the only way to kind of get away from the airport to your hotel and to get back. So it's all arranged, and we didn't pay the guy, we just paid the hotel. So they are all in this together, which I think is really beautiful and really cool. And I didn't even think about, I just thought we would take a taxi or get a grab. So that was really nice, because I kind of freaked out when they said like, oh no, it's no grabs or taxis here, and I'm like, but how are we supposed to get to our hotel? It's like half an hour. And the boat tour D, it costs the same as everyone else. It's about 1600 pesos. So what is good to know about the boat trips is that it is a little bit of waiting. You know, we were at the boat at 8 a.m. but we didn't drive off until 9:30 because we were waiting on people. You also can rent everything you need, like goggles and a snorkel and like, what's it called, water shoes and fins. I think it's about 150 pesos per item. Also, I would bring snacks and some water, or a lot of water, because at this tour in Coron we didn't get any water. We did get food, but we didn't get any drinks. You could buy it on the island though, so me and Jürgen bought a beer, but we also brought a water bottle, and it went really quickly on the boat. So I'm glad we could buy a beer on the island. And then people had a lot of snacks, me and Jürgen didn't, because we were like, oh, we're getting lunch. But it is like you eat breakfast really early, like 7 a.m. and then lunch isn't until like 1:30 p.m. So I think it's good to have some snacks, like just a little bag of chips or something. Well, that was Coron and a boat tour D for you guys. I will get better at this, I promise. I'm working on it, so bear with me, please. It might not be the last. I'm here. I need to say some more about this, but hopefully it will be less and less. I think I'm getting the hang of it now. How do I end this video? Do I just say bye? Bye, see you later, or something? Yeah, I'll go with that. And El Nido is wonderful, so I'm excited to show you what we have been experiencing here also.